Hello everybody and welcome to Retro Ratchet. So in this video I'm going to do a little bit of a project roundup. I haven't done one of these before, so I've got a few cars coming and going. The projects are all at different stages, so I thought maybe for some of the new viewers it'd be good to get a bit of a background on where we're up to. So I guess first to start with, it's probably worth mentioning, you know, what is the channel all about. So the channel's following all of my projects. I'm not a professional mechanic or car restorer, it's just something I do in my spare time. So yeah, I was keen about 6 months ago just to start off the channel just so I could share the work that I was doing. I thought it could be of interest to people. So I guess the obvious place to start here is what cars do I currently own. So you can see in the background there, we've got the Maestro Turbo. So this is a 1990 mgmaestroturbo, so it's a 2-litre 8-valve. I've had this car for about 10 years now. I started off a restoration on it about 7 or 8 years ago, which took far longer than I expected, but the car is now on the road, MOT'd, it's resprayed, and we're doing some finishing touches. Next we've got the mk4 Astra coupe. This is a original edition 100. 2003, but it's been fitted with a Saab B204 engine in it. So this has just been a little bit of a rolling project, something that I've used mostly on track days. And then beside it, we have yet another mk4 Astra coupe. This one's got a Z20 let in it. This is a 2004. This one is pretty mint. The other one isn't in quite as good condition, but that doesn't really bother me considering what I use it for. Then we have the 1988 Ford Escort. So this is a 1.6 Ghia. I got this one quite recently, so again this is another rolling project. It's MOT'd. I've done a few videos on it so far. So it's a Ghia and it's manual. It's in pretty decent condition. And one I actually forgot about because it's not at the property at the moment, it's away getting resprayed. We've got a 1986 Rover SD1 twin plenum Vitesse in Moonraker Blue. So yeah, that was a project car. It's required a lot of welding, respray. It's currently MOT'd. It's currently got a carburetor on it, but we're going to get that converted back to the twin plenum. So I guess this one probably doesn't need an introduction or an explanation for what it is. It's a kit from Knightrider. So this one's a 1987 Pontiac Trans Am. It's got a 5.7 V8 in it. I've done a few videos on it. It's surprisingly, the videos haven't been that popular. It's probably me rather than the car that's got that result. But yeah, I mean, kit's on the road, MOT'd. We've done several shows with it already this year. It does need a bit of a clean. I haven't actually got around to that after the last show, but it needs a clean and a bit of a detail. Right, and the latest addition is the XC90 T8. Right, so the Maestro Turbo. So where are we up to with this project? So I think the last video that I published on this one was the machine polishing video. So I've actually shot several very short videos since, covering all the little minor jobs. I haven't published them because they were going to be about 2 or 3 minutes long, so the plan is to put all these videos together into one more interesting video covering about 6 or 7 different things that I've been up to. Don't worry about the welder, it's not related to the Maestro. As you can actually see, it's currently in bits at the moment. I'm just give you a little bit of a clue for what I'm doing in there. That's the hoses for the rear washer. So yep, that's the latest little job that I'm on with that one. So yeah, I've enjoyed just driving it. No breakdowns. I've done a 100-mile round trip in it the other night without flaw. It was about 24-25 degrees up here. So there was no overheating, it just drove perfectly. So it's just so nice after this many years to actually get out in it and just use it in the nice weather. So in the pipeline for the Maestro, like I was saying, we've got a few things. I've actually done some detailing on it. So that's not actual polishing the paint work, just going around the rubbers, the bits of trim, anything that had overspray on it as well, placement of nuts and bolts. I've been working through a snag list on it of things that are either faulty or don't work. So for example, the rear wiper, the rear washer, carb fan doesn't work at the moment, and really anything I find as I go along that's going to need improved or replaced. So yeah, we're in a good place with the Maestro, currently on 82,680 miles, so yeah, hopefully we'll get another few more before it comes off the road for the end of the season. Right, so the old SD1, so where are we up to in this one? I know a lot of subscribers joined the channel to follow my progress on that one. I guess just due to the rarity in them, and they're very popular, I guess, back in the day. So yeah, like I said, it's in the paint shop at the moment. There's been a few delays along the way, that's why I haven't done any updates on it. But it is being worked on at the moment. It's fully stripped. It's currently having some repairs done to all the arches. I mean, you will have seen from some of the previous videos. I obviously done the metal work. Well, I didn't do the metal work on the back arches because they're a mess, so I'm not owning up to that one. So I've done the front arches. So yeah, there's a bit of filler and work and stuff to do around there. So what I probably will do is a very short video on the SD1 before it comes back from the paint shop on the bumper repairs. You can just see them sitting down there outside at the moment. So yeah, there's a little bit of work to be done on those. And then they can go back into the paint shop to get painted and then fitted. In the Rover it'll be staying its original Moonraker blue, which everybody will be pleased to hear. I think they look pretty decent in that colour, you know, and it'll help add to its value. The only other thing that we're trying to figure out at the moment is how we handle the trim around the front windscreen. I had the front windscreen replaced months and months and months ago because I was under the impression there was actually a whole load of holes around the surround. It actually turned out there wasn't, so we had to get the glass out to check all that because it was leaking. There was water flooding in regularly in it, and the car does live outside, so we had that removed. It was broken when it was removed, so I had to get a new one fitted. I didn't want to have the window surround trim fitted at the time because I knew I was going to be getting it painted. So that's causing some problems at the moment because the window bond does secure the trim in place. So more on that one as and when. Right, B204 Astra. So I guess, yeah, there was quite a recent video on this one on the welding. In fact, the longest video in the world on this one. So that was the latest update in that. So subsequently it's since passed its MOT. So I've done a couple of track nights in it, which I collected the videos for, and I haven't actually done anything with them yet in terms of editing or uploading. Wasn't really sure what to do with them, but in the middle of the first and second track night, we actually had a head gasket issue on it. It seemed to be suffering from head lift, so I didn't actually record the head gasket replacement at the time. But yeah, we replaced the head gasket, the head bolts, inlet manifold gasket. We stuck another remap on it at the time. So since then I've done that second track night without fail. What was actually happening is it seemed to be losing water. There was no oil and water mixing, but it seemed to be under boost. It was emptying a tank of coolant just randomly, so we found out it was the first cylinder that was the culprit. You could actually see when the gasket was removed where the water had actually been leaking into the combustion chamber. But anyway, that's all done now. We've replaced the headlights. There was an issue with the side lights on them. That's done. I started on a bit of detailing on it, so one side's been machine polished. It brought it up really nicely. You probably won't be able to make it out. It was this side. Yeah, you can't really make that out because it's pouring down at the moment. We had the exhaust fixed. A friend came up to help with that. That back box just wasn't fitted right. The bracket, one of the brackets had a Jubilee clip around it to hold it to the hanger, which was fascinating. There was no rubber, so it was just metal against metal, so that was what was resulting in all the noise. So we basically cut that bracket off and re-welded it on, so there's been no noise off the exhaust since. So that's another one out the way. So I guess the question now on the B204 is, what do I actually do with it? Do I do another few track nights in it? Do I upgrade it to a 19T or something like that? Because it is still only running a T25. So it's maybe 240 brake, 250 brake, something like that. So it's all right. It's not fast by any means, but it is reliable now. Obviously has the brakes, the suspension. It's now got a new MOT, so it's pretty much ready to go. The other thing I had crossed my mind was sell it and get something else. So yeah, watch this space. It might be up for sale shortly if I find something else I'm interested in. This one, the other Astra Coupe Turbos, this one's been a bit elusive. It hasn't featured very much on the channel. It's because we've again, I touched on this in another video, but I'm not going to get into the ins and out of it in this video. Well, not at the moment, but basically the car was remapped. It came back in a terrible condition. It was returned, it was taken away for a couple of weeks, and it still wasn't right. It was surging badly, so on part throttle, it was trying to hit full boost, you know, it was bordering on undrivable. So I took it somewhere else, who knew what they were doing with Astras. They had the car for quite a period of time to try and figure out exactly what was going on with it. So they mapped it properly, they live mapped it on the road, and we also replaced the in-tank fuel pump. That was the wrong one that was in that. So that's been replaced now with an upgraded one. We've got the mapping done, so it's running really nice now. Super quick as you'd expect. I think it's probably in the region of about 300, 305 brake. I really need to get it on a dyno. I never got dynoed at the time just because, as you can probably see, it does sit very, very low, and the downpipe was hitting off the floor where the dyno is, so that never worked out. But yeah, it's sitting about 300 brake. I'd probably say maybe 320 pound-foot of torque, so really quick. So really happy with it now. So I've been using it over the last couple of weeks, just nipping about and see if there's any more issues come up, but there hasn't, so that's great. In terms of what we need to do, it does need a rear wheel bearing. I'm going to have to figure out which side. There's no play in it, it's just a bit droney, which matches the droney exhaust. Nah, well, it's actually not as bad as it was. So yeah, we've got the rear wheel bearing to do. We've got to give it a quick detail. The paintwork on this one is immaculate. I might whip the sills off it. The sills a couple of years ago was no corrosion under them, but it might be worth, just for the sake of replacing the clips, that's all it's going to cost me taking them off, just to make sure they're not like this one. So I don't think they are, but might cover that in a separate video. And do we sell it or do we keep it? So that's the question. It's quite a high spec, this one. It's got a VXR turbo on it. It's got a downpipe on it, injectors, MAF, C20 LET clutch. So yeah, it has had quite a bit of work done to it, but yeah, we'll figure out, is it a keeper or is it to be sold? In terms of jobs to do on this one, what needs done in this one? Right, okay, so we need to do a service on it. We need to do a show mode. So show mode is just so I'm going to run it off we'll run the knightrider electrics off of a separate battery in the boot, just so it can be demonstrated a bit easier. Shows, and then little bits of trim that, again, it's like the Maestro, I just pick away at every time I use it. Right, so what have we been up to in the Escort? I'm sitting inside now because, as you can tell, it's absolutely pouring down. I was getting soaked and I looked a bit daft wandering about with a selfie stick. So anyway, so the Escort, where we're up to in it. So the Escort has unfortunately been off the road again with carb issues. So that's doing my head in. So I'll get into that in detail in the actual video that I'm putting together for that. But we've had some more carb issues. I've done some more modifications to the carb. I just had it out at a small retro meet this morning, so it's done about another 20 odd 30 miles now, and it's fine. Always manages to get attention, you know, when it goes out. Maybe it's the unusual coloured interior. Who knows? So yeah, sitting on 49,500 miles. I do really like this car. It's great. It's just so softly sprung. It's a lovely thing for just knocking about town and doing some of the shorter journeys and stuff. So what else? Wheels. I hate the wheels, as you'll have seen from the previous videos, and I'm getting comments of viewers as well. They don't really like them either, so I do tend to agree. So I have sourced some Steelies, and I have also sourced some of the original Ghia wheel trim. So yeah, we plan on, I'm going to get the tyres off, I'm going to get the wheels painted. I'll probably do that myself. There's a little bit of the steel wheels actually exposed just outside the trim, or I wouldn't have bothered. The trims don't 100% cover them. It's maybe about 10 mil or so, and they're rusty because they've sat in people's gardens for how long. They were actually very hard to get a hold of steel wheels for an Escort because everybody puts alloys on them, but for this one, they would look nice with it, maybe RS Turbo alloys, something like that, XR3 ones, but I want this one to be standard. I think that's where you know, the value is in it. So yeah, so we're going to get new tyres, we're going to get those wheels painted, I'll do that myself, get those trims on, get them swapped on, so there'll be a video on that, so I haven't done it yet. Like the Maestro, I've put together a series of short clips. They've not been uploaded yet, where I've gotten into that engine bay, gotten a battery tray, had a good look at the battery tray, gotten a hold of muck and crap cleaned out, gotten degreased all under there, so we've got a video on that. I've done some interior detailing on it, and it has come up like brand new. It's unreal, to be fair. So I've got a wee video on that coming up. I've still got the rear to do actually. I only managed to get the front done, but the rear won't take too long. So that's to get done. I've machine polished it. It's not got a 3-stage detailed one like the Maestro, but by the by, it's still come up really nicely, regardless of the fact there's probably 50 different shades of whatever this is called, champagne, pink, Ford, whatever. So the detailing video, I had a crack at the front bumper with the bumper gel, the same that I used for Mark III Astra. It didn't come up as well as the Astra, but a lot better. But I need to really do it again, and I also need to do the back one. The sides, the body side mouldings on these, you know, that go along the doors, have got a chrome insert. Some of that seems to be missing, seems to be black, discoloured, so they look horrible. So I've restored them, so I'll go through that in a video. Well, in fact, I've only done one at the moment, so I'll wait to see if it would work for a couple of weeks till I do the rest, because it's pretty time consuming. So, and then just like little things like going around the window rubbers and anything else that I could kind of detail along the way. But the main thing will be the wheels, get them sorted, and like I says, that carb. And it's still to be serviced, but you know, I'm just running it for the moment and enjoying it. So if any of you, well, I think there was only 100 people in total or something that watched the M4 video, will know that was my everyday car. It was an M4 competition 2017, so I decided to sell that and replace it with this XC90 T8. Yeah, something a bit bigger and more comfy for family duties. So the opposite end of the spectrum to an M4. I've only had it now, I don't know, 4 days, something like that. I might do a bit of content on it. It's obviously not going to be a project car because it's reasonably new. It's a T8, so it's 2-litre turbo, supercharged, and it's hybrid. So, and it's got a Polestar upgrade, or enhancement, I think enhancement as they like to call it, added on it as well from the factory. So it's 415 brake or something like that, and it's packed full of toys, the same as any XC90 is. So yeah, I might do some videos on maybe efficiency, my experience of buying it. It could be a bit contentious, but yeah, I might do that anyway because it could be quite entertaining. Things that haven't been done at the sale process, so we might give that one a bash and see how we get on. So thank you for watching. I guess that brings this short update video to a bit of a conclusion. As you've seen, there's a lot in the pipeline. This hasn't quite come together yet to do a full video. There's a lot saved, so I thought I would just do this, like I said, this little filler one, just to keep everybody interested. You know, I'm still here, I'm still alive, still working on the cars, just life and other things getting in the way. So another question, I guess, you know, what do you guys want to see on the channel? You know, I've just been ploughing ahead with some project work, covering some car shows. I covered an auction. Like I said, I'm maybe going to dabble a wee bit with the XC90. There'll be more technical things, and I guess it'll be a different audience base for something like that than, say, the SD1. What do you want to see next? The M4 video was a complete flop, actually. Of all the videos I've done, I'd say that was by far the lowest performing one. So I don't know if that was just me, which is highly possible that I'm the problem there, or the car. I thought they might have been more popular. So car reviewing is definitely not my thing. There's another few cars I could possibly, classics I could maybe get a hold of to do reviews on. We'll see. So I might do a couple of maybe classic car reviews later in the year. But yeah, I'd be interested. Put in the comments any thoughts on new topics. Somebody did say a while back I should do maybe a bit of a review on, you know, the channel, why did I start it, a bit about me, my skill set, things like that. So I don't know, that's maybe still in the cards. Do one of them. I've had probably over 100 cars now, you know, since I've passed, so it could be the case that I start delving a little bit deeper into some of the older cars and maybe do a bit of a discussion on them. Who knows? But I'm really relying on you guys to feedback your opinions, what you think, what you would like to see, and I can see if I can put it together. So thanks again for viewing, and please remember to like and subscribe. We're nearly at 1,000 subscribers. So just that last little push, and then we'll hit that next milestone. Right, and the last question I meant to ask you guys was, do we want to see any more junior Ratchet videos? Because there's been a lot being taken over the car shows. You've been making yourself busy, haven't you? Yeah. Doing your own little car reviews and project reviews. So yeah. What do we think? Leave us some comments.